G'day, I'm Gary. I live in Southern California with my wife Robbie, and in this video I'm going to talk about some of the weeds that I'm going to remove from here. I'm going to compost the ones in this area here. I've been interested in identifying weeds for a long time. When I immigrated to the United States just under 30 years ago, I brought with me my book Weeds in Australia. And before the internet, I got another book called Weeds in the West. Now both of these books have similar plants in them. A lot of these weeds have been introduced from other countries, some of them are native. The ones in this area are all edible. So what I'm going to do is I'll go over what they are. This area here has been set up for our Yorkies. I bring them out at night to take them for a walk, and I don't have to worry about anything jumping the fence. I set up some coyote rollers along the top. I did a video a couple of years ago on it, and I'll post a link in the description. Because the Yorkies are out here during the day as well, I'm not going to harvest any of these plants to eat. Instead, I'll harvest them for compost. Having weeds growing in your area around your garden is a good thing. It will increase the population of beneficial insects like this hoverfly that's moving around here now. The beneficial insects, if you increase the population of them, they will naturally migrate into your garden, and that's a good organic way of controlling pests. One of the first things most people would do when they're setting up a garden is come through and remove all the weeds. Often they'll end up going into the green waste bin. Current events mean that some of these plants are more valuable than you might think. What I think I'll do is go over each plant individually. I'll let you know what I know about them. I'm going to put the Latin name up on the screen. A lot of these plants have different common names depending on where you're from. And the important thing is, if you're going to eat some of these plants, no matter who you're getting your information from, the best thing I would suggest is trust but verify. So the first one I'm going to cover, this one here, is prickly lettuce. If you're going to grow lettuce and collect the seeds, you might want to remove this plant from your garden because they will hybridize. The flavour tastes like lettuce that's bolting, so you can cook it and that will remove some of the bitterness. I prefer not to use this plant. This is a good composting plant. The one next to it is sow thistle. Now sow thistle is similar in flavour to lettuce. It's got a mild flavour. When it starts to go to flower, like this one here is, it starts to get a little bit bitter, but we use this when we're cooking our eggs, so this is a green that we use. We also leave it so that the goldfinches can feed on the flowers or the seeds. This one here is common mallow. The leaves are edible, the roots are also edible. Personally, I don't use it that much, but it is good for composting. So that's a good source of material for composting. And the way we're gardening right now, and even up to this point in time before this, we use a lot of green material in our composting, or especially in Robbie's garden. So to get enough material, it's always good to just pull the weeds out and use the weeds as well as your kitchen scraps. This one here is one of my favourites. It's called London Rocket. Now it's in the cruciferous family. It's related to arugula or rocket. It has a similar flavour to mustard, and it's kind of a acquired taste, but I don't mind eating it. When it goes to flower, the taste or the flavour gets particularly strong, so it's better used when it's smaller, younger and tender. The larger leaves are a little stronger, The smaller leaves are a little bit less spicy, but that's a good one that I've got growing in my main garden, or just in areas where I know I can harvest it. Along here, because of the dogs, I'm going to leave all this alone. This one here I call lamb's quarters. It's also got another name. Some people might know it as goosefoot. Like a lot of leafy greens, it's high in oxalates. So this one, if you were going to eat a lot of it, I would definitely steam or boil it and discard the water. I will eat a few small leaves from time to time, but I generally don't eat a lot of one thing. I kind of snack on a number of items. I kind of follow what John Kohler does. He'd rather have a lot of different plants to eat than eat a lot of the same thing. This is something that was used before spinach became popular. So a couple of 100 years ago, this was a commonly eaten plant. And that pretty much covers what's growing here that I recognise. So what I'll do now is I'll go in another part of our yard where I've got some other plants growing. So these have got small leaves, but the plants that I'm going to go to next have got much larger leaves, and they're probably more recognisable to most people. The last two plants that I want to cover in this video are wild mustard and wild radish. Wild radish is a little less common. It's got the nice purple flower. The wild mustard is very common in Southern California and probably other parts of the country. This time of the year you'll see hillsides literally covered in this. Both of these are super plants as far as the amount of leafy green material you can get from them. So you can either eat it, every part of the plants are edible, or you could use it in your compost. And when you're starting a compost and you don't have a lot of material, this is an excellent plant to start with. In our area we have weed abatement, so every year I have to come through and clear the property of weeds, in particular the wild mustard. This is last year's growth, and what happens is this gets tinder dry and brittle, and it's a fire hazard. So I try to separate these plants off a little bit and just let a couple of them grow. My favourite part of the plant that I like to eat are the flowers just before they start. This is a lot more common, at least in our area, than the wild radish. These are both relatives of one another. If you have this growing in your yard, no one's going to really mess with it. No one will know what it is, so it's something that you could have just kind of hidden in plain sight if you wanted to go in that direction. What I've gone over today has just covered a few things that we have growing here. I know there's a lot of other things that come in seasonally that we could obviously talk about, but hopefully I've given you some food for thought, and when you go out into your garden you might see something that you might think you want to just pull out, or maybe you'll consider leaving it or using it for compost. The cruciferous plants are really dynamite for cold composting, and when you want to try to get your compost going, you're going to be looking for a lot of leafy greens, and this is certainly a plant that you could get hold of readily. You might even find it in your neighbour's yard. If your neighbour has it growing, you could always ask them, and I'm sure they'll be very happy that you would come over and remove some of their weeds for them. Anyhow, with that, I hope I've been helpful to at least someone. If I see a thumbs up, then I know I've helped someone out, and that'll make me very happy. With that, thanks for watching, and don't forget to eat what you grow.